here from Belladonna's Botanicals. I'm going to try to get back to making some video content again. I know it's been a little sporadic because I was moving. So I'm still getting settled in the new place, getting the business caught up with everything, and getting back in the saddle and whatnot. I will have a permanent sort of YouTube recording place set up. Right now, boxes. Anyways, so for recording right now in my bedroom. Anywho, but obviously I have a long list of things that I've had on my ideas to talk about, videos to record list for quite some time. I just have not been able to. And also my if you saw any of the latter update videos I did in September, also dealing with like the crap ton of packing everything and getting the hell out of Philadelphia. So, anyways, I'm much happier here. So, one of the topics I had written, I had jotted down to talk about. It was something I was thinking about, and I know I've talked in different videos sort of about doing cursing, a lot of curse work to manifest the results you're looking for. And I think sometimes, excuse me, that there gets to be a point where you're doing so much curse work that you're just kind of cursing yourself at that point. And even if you're trying to, manifest better things, it doesn't always. I think there's sometimes like a shift that needs to happen. And like, I hate to use a new age buzzword, but like, really, once I started focusing on manifesting versus other things, like, cursing getting caught up in petty cursing things or cursing to get a means to an end, um, I found that the things kind of manifested a lot freaking faster when I just focused solely on, okay, here's the thing we're trying to manifest. Um, or building, I have to still unpacking my altars and all my journals and various things. So, but thinking of like a manifestation vortex, forecast. I know how to use words. Anyways, so a manifestation forecast. Like, think about if you want to break it down into, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a weekly basis, yearly basis. What are your manifestation goals? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, for me, it was, and maybe I didn't manifest things always in what seemed to be the greatest way possible, but everything worked out in the end. Did I have to curse anyone to manifest the things I wanted? No. I mean, sure, some petty stuff here and there, but that really had nothing to do about me getting what I wanted other than some peace and quiet when I was still in Philly, but done with that. So, anyways, pardon my crazy hair. I need to do something with it. I need to wash it, I think, or brush it. Yes. My hair got long. Anyways, sorry, you're getting a hot mess, Jen, who's been doing nothing but packing and unpacking forever. All summer, at least. Glasses and ring lights are a gigantic pain in the butt. I'm like, how do I get my ring light to illuminate me and not reflect in my glasses? Okay, apparently I just have to turn my head funny or take my glasses off. Well, I look cute with my glasses on, anyways. So I guess it's one of those things, especially working more on the left-hand path with black magic and demonolatry, that people can sometimes get caught up in the cycles of doing so much baneful magic that there's a point at which it's just overkill. Um, if you just keep like throwing the same curse at the same people over and over and over again, you're probably going to find at best you've stalled things out. Occasionally you might see some progress, But really think about what your goals are here. And maybe your goals don't need to be curse oriented. Maybe they need to be more manifestation oriented. And I know it's a cheesy new age thing, and I know it goes a lot into some of the law of attraction stuff, but I found once I shifted my focus into manifesting things and to really doing that, is that things started falling into place very, very quickly for me. And not focusing on things. There's only so many get your ex spells you can do before you just have to be like, yeah, done with that. So sometimes you're trying to manifest the wrong things. And that's a lesson we all have to learn. And sorry, the reflection of my glasses is annoying me. Anyways, but that's a lesson we all have to learn as practitioners, no matter what path we're on, is sometimes that things are not always gonna manifest, and there's probably a reason for that. It's sort of like, well, okay, you could get your ex back, but do you really wanna? There's probably a reason they're your ex. And it's like, and I've fallen into that trap before, where it's like you want this person, you think this is the right person for you, and the universe is just kind of like, really? Do you not see it? Yeah. So you could spend all your time pissing into the wind trying to manifest or get your ex back, and you may be, cursing his new girlfriend to get him back and whatnot. Where maybe you need to be looking at manifesting love, and whether that's love for yourself, whether that's finding a soulmate, whether that's finding a new partner. That's what you need to do. And I feel like a lot, especially on the left hand path and like in the darker magic spectrum, and especially with a lot of people working with different demons and dark goddesses, that we just feel like we can force our way into getting what we want. And sure, sometimes that works. But does it work in the long term? Does it work? Are you just putting a band-aid on something? You've still got the flood behind there, but you've got a band-aid on that little leaky hole, so we're good for now. For now being the what's the word I'm looking for? The key. So how do you prevent that flood from coming? And sometimes a lot of what you need to do in your magical practice is a lot of mundane shit. Because that's important too. You can do all the weight loss spells in the world, but if you're just gonna sit on the sofa eating a gallon of ice cream every day, probably not gonna work. And there's probably not a demon for you that's gonna make it work. So sometimes, me, I like to speak extemporaneously. So, and I've seen this from different people I work with. I've seen it from other practitioners. And it's like you look at these people that are slapping their big old on the table, being like, oh, I'm about cursing this, that, and the other thing, and like, take a look at their lives. Are they that great? Because I gotta tell you, when I was throwing curses all the time, things were not that great. I mean, in some areas, okay, not all of them, and not the ones that counted the most. Um, Sometimes you're freaking just cursing yourself, to be honest. You might be like, I am going to curse this person here, and I'm throwing all my curses at them, and cursing and cursing and cursing. But really, the person you're probably cursing is yourself. So, I think a lot of these things just take a matter of perspective. And sure, it's fun and badass to throw curses and whatnot, but it's not to say they don't have consequences, but like, I mean, not for nothing. I'm down with throwing a petty curse every now and then, but hopefully those days are past me. So, because a lot of them had to do with my living situation in Philadelphia. So, um, what I think, and I talk about this a little bit in the Accessibility Magic series in the episode I did on mind mapping for your spells and rituals. I think you really need to start off with very clear goals in what you're trying to achieve. Do you want this person to leave you alone? You could just, at best, a binding spell or a shut the fuck up spell. I always found freezer spells to be good for that. That sort of thing. Do you have to keep cursing and cursing and cursing and cursing and cursing this person? Not really. Because at some point, it's like throwing more fire on the fire. Well, the fire is already on fire, so how much more on fire can the fire really be? So it gets to be the point of overkill. You're just doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. Now, in some circumstances, certain spells and certain types of work do take extra, work. No, you might find that you do something and you start to see results, but then it kind of plateaus and tapers off. Well, you kind of have to re-up it at that point in time, because I don't think there's a permanent magical solution to anything. If there is, show me. So I think most things kind of take the time they take, and sometimes, especially if you're dealing with another person, you're kind of overriding their free will. And if this person is magical or whatnot, you're dealing with their protection and defensive measures. You never know what kind of ancestors or spirit guides people have, and sometimes, mine have thwarted things that have come at me that way. Most practitioners have a heavy arsenal of how they've warded their houses and themselves, and various people working with them to do regular routine curse removal, and just to kind of scan. You can work with servitors, all that stuff. So if you think you're good enough to break through all those multi-layer things, you might for some point in time. And I've seen some brand name magicians claiming all the people they've cursed. I'm like, well, you didn't death curse that person very well, because I think they're still alive. I'm talking to them like right now. Anyways. So, but I think that's some of the thing that perpetuates a negative stereotype of the black magic and left hand path community, and sort of the broader occult community that works on the dark magic side of things, is that I always talk about balance. Like, yes, like there's a time and place for everything. It's. Do you have to curse every single thing, or is cursing your go-to solution for every single problem you have? Because probably if your go-to thing is cursing, before you've gone through all the other options you have at hand, I think you probably need to reevaluate the way you're approaching magic and your practice. There's a time and place for everything. I'm not saying don't curse and be all woo-woo, love and light, because that's a different type of toxic. But you really want to look at it in terms of, like, okay, maybe let's start with a binding. Let's start with a banishing. Let's move through a couple things here, negative energy clearing, and a couple other things that you can do. Because a lot of times that's really it. That's, or if someone's doing work against you, just set it and forget it. Do a curse removal. Have someone do it for you. Because everyone has different specialties in the way they see things and the way they work. So there's sometimes, like, I've been working with someone, and it's sort of like peeling back the layers of an onion. There was just like things that kind of had been thrown at me over the years, and some weren't really doing much. There was like, well, someone threw a curse at you, but it was never activated. It's just kind of sitting there, or waiting to be activated. or certain things were triggered by other mechanisms, like sort of a boomeranging kind of thing. So, um, and honestly, I kind of feel like a lot of that is lifted right now for me. So, like energetically, I don't know if it was just the Philly energy, but like I feel like energy's good right now. Some people will attack on the astral realm. I know that I had someone trying to either remote view spy on me or astral project to spy on me. Whether like a physical presence in the room or like in dream realms or in astral travel. That stopped. Funny story. I was joke about I want to create because they make these because I am a very serious person. I'm sure you've noticed that. They make those little poop emoji like stuffies. So I want to make one that's a servitor that gives people ass wrecking shits if they fuck with me. Um, like that. So, but the premises is that I was aware of someone and I could see through their astral, normally people will try to disguise themselves so you don't know who they were. I'm like, I see you there on the bus. And then the person kind of got up at the next stop, grabbing their ass, ran off the bus, and proceeded to copiously shit themselves in the middle of the street. So I was like, yeah, don't spy on me. I'm probably not doing anything that interesting anyways. And if you're trying to remote view spy me, like I was like, dude, I'm in my pajamas watching Grey's Anatomy. I mean, come on, not doing that much of an interesting thing here. Because I literally don't care. Um, so I got a little bit off topic there in a little bit. So I think it's just a matter of like really looking at what you're trying to accomplish and finding the best way to do that. And the best way to do that isn't always cursing people to get what you want. Like, okay, you want to raise at work. Are you going to curse all your coworkers to make them look bad? So, therefore, you look good and you get the big raise? Or are you going to curse your boss? So, that sort of thing. How about you manifest getting that? How about you do the work to make yourself look like the ideal candidate? To make yourself look like, hey, I am a person of value here. And manifesting that money flow, that raise, that whatever you're trying to do, versus going, I'm going to curse everyone till I get what I want. Because it's kind of like a spoiled little brat approach. And I've done it myself. I'm not pointing fingers and casting stones when I'm guilty of things too. But it's what I try to impart a lot through this channel is the live and learn, the experiential things, especially for people just getting into it or people who are interested in more of the darker magic stuff. It might be a little put off by some of that stuff. Because a lot of people I know, for as many curses that get lobbed at them, they're not cursing people. They're just like, well, I don't know about you, but I love living rent free in people's head that they think they need to curse me for me having the audacity to just exist and not give a shit that they exist. Because the best thing you can do to those type of people, especially because there's always community drama and shit like that. It's just like, I nothing you. I don't hate you. I don't like you. I nothing you. You literally mean nothing to me. Because why should I let them live rent free in my head? I don't care. I mean, the occult community is big enough for us all to exist in, and, there's people I don't like and I've parted ways with over the years, and I just don't interact with them. Sorry, my hair is like... Here, we're going to go 80s to the side. There we go. Yeah, I'm an 80s girl. I feel like I should be wearing leg warmers. Anyways, wild hair aside, so that's just a little bit of what I kind of wanted to talk about with this, is to really kind of focus on the fact that sometimes you're just kind of cursing for the sake of cursing, and occasionally you might end up cursing yourself in the process. Because, if you're not seeing results from any of the work you're doing. It's time to fine tune, and that sometimes might be doing something entirely different. Or the universe might have different plans in store for you, or that person, or whatever. Um, because I've run into that a few times where I'm like, this sucks. Why isn't this working? And I'm like, 6 months later, something happens. I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get why that wasn't supposed to work. Thank you, universe. So, excuse me. These things, listen to your intuition, listen to do your divination. You can also get feedback from a lot of people, whether you book a consultation, whether you think, and for the love of all that is holy, unholy, and otherwise, accept no as an answer. Accept that not all things are possible. Accept that sometimes what you're looking for, there's such a fraction of a sliver of a possibility, because you have to factor in all the mundane stuff that might influence what you're trying to accomplish magically. Now, you might think that you're a badass magician and can do whatever, manifest whatever you want, get what people to bend to your will and desire. That's all fine, well, and egotistical, but reality is, I couldn't make either of my exes my soulmates or whatever. I couldn't, there's a point in time when you're like, I need to let go of this because this is toxic, and these people were toxic, or the situations were toxic, and were always going to not be what I needed and what I deserved. And I had to do a lot of self-work to get past that. So what I'm saying here is weigh the options. Think about, take one particular situation. Here, I'm going to give you homework. Take one particular situation in your life that you may be doing spell work for, may want to do spell work for, may want to manifest, and write out 5 to 10 different ways you can make that manifest. From the simplest thing to something complicated, and test and see what works for you. It might be as much as doing a simple candle spell. Might be popping off to the astral realm to chit chat with your whatever entities you work with. Sometimes for me, the answers to my questions will come. I'll just take a meditation nap, and I'll be like, oh yes, this is the thing I need to do. So, anyways, that's your homework. And it's something that I'm probably going to do myself more, like just kind of sketch out how I want each of these things to work. Because sometimes we and I know I've done this too, is we look at like the whole thing. I'm like, I want to manifest this and this and this and this and this. Baby steps. Break it down. And that's a lot of what I talk about in some of my accessibility magic series, especially for the mind mapping thing, of really looking at all the different ways you can achieve this one goal. And the steps that, because sometimes it's not just a matter of throwing the nuclear bomb of a spell at something to get it to work. Sometimes it takes systematic, step-by-step things over time to get them to work. So, happy manifesting. And don't forget to do your homework. And let me know. I'd love to see some examples of like how you've approached this, because I think that's really important. Because so many times people approach me and they want to give me the spell to do this for this thing, and it's like, well, everyone has different practices. What works for me may not work for you. You might have work in an entirely different tradition than I work with. I don't know much about Norse heathenry, so I can't really give you advice on how to do a spell in that tradition. Like, you've got basic spell components that you can kind of, maybe that could be universal, that can cross-pollinate across different traditions and whatnot. But it's all about, and I cannot stress this enough, it's all about finding what works for you. read. Y'all are so lucky to like be where we are in, being able to Google and YouTube and TikTok how to do whatever. Um, and I will be making more content on this now that I've moved. I'm in a place when I can record videos any time of the day I want because it's not loud. I don't have to deal with that anymore. So, because it is literally quiet that I can hear crickets chirping like literally 24 hours a day. So, and I am okay with that. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. And again, thank you so much. We just recently hit 3,000 subscribers. So let's keep on keeping on. And hopefully I'll get to that 4,000 soon. Anyways, I love you all. Thanks for watching. And I'm glad to be back and making content again. Bye.